Welcome to another episode of the Side Eye. I'm Uptown Bobby,
And I'm K.Clark.
and we're back again with another episode. Man, it's summertime pretty much. I mean, we're getting
Mm,
there.
we are. It's
Yes, this is
hot.
a recording. Yes, it's hot as hell. As of the recording, we are in May, or like mid-May.
hmm
Um, Knocking down this month, almost in June, and the pop culture landscape is kind of odd right now. You pretty much got everybody still talking about Sinners. Sinners is still a very popular movie. Gonna make the 300 mark.
I think I know it's close to 200 million last time I read something about it. So
Right. That's going on. Beyonce is on tour. If you're lucky enough to get a ticket, congratulations. uh, so this is a lot of stuff like that. But a thing that's really uh in the I would say at the main table of pop culture right now, at least on social media, is the current trial of Sean P. Diddy Combs. Um, and basically, been it's been a revealing shit show. Most of it is stuff that we've heard throughout the past, what, year and a half?
yeah, I'd say since the arrest, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
about a year and a half. All the allegations, the freak offs, the abuse of Cassie that we knew about, but we saw also a video,
Right.
the video that was released on CNN. So yeah, it's been a lot. So now we're getting to the meat of the trial with people taking a stand. Um, you know, Actual litigation happening, and throughout this, we're encountering a lot of complex and vulnerable moments, particularly with Cassie as she's on the stand and having to defend herself against a defense that is, man, bringing out everything, bringing out text messages from uh, decades ago. Um,
It took you that long, so
like,
yeah.
yeah, uh, and basically framing it as if she was a willing participant in some of these acts. And it just brings along a popular game of, I don't want to say men versus women because it's not just men versus women, but it's people wanting to say this is all a part of a big plan to bring the black man down.
Mm.
Um, and it just connects dots to arguments that this is all a ploy to bring Diddy down. Diddy, yes, he may be sexual deviant, but Cassie was knowing, she was a knowing participant. And also, this is just another day in the life of Hollywood. So basically, where we're at, and I'm going to pass this on to K.Clark, is just an eye point online and around barbershops, around just spaces in particular where you have people making very um, uncomfortable arguments, especially around like black men and power and other dynamics. And this is when I'll let K. Clark take over.
Well, yeah, I think people bring out the usual arguments like, why she didn't leave. Uh, she was into it, so she's not a victim. It's about money, quote unquote. In the same way that or in a similar way, whenever black person gets shot by the police, and immediately the people start looking online for any receipts about any sort of violent history, any sort of or any history with previous arrests or anything that can make them not the perfect victim, quote unquote. They do that to people, particularly women who come forward about abuse. And you've seen it with Cassie. They're saying, oh, she was into it. When she said initially, he brought the idea of the freak offs to her. She was into it in the sense that she wanted to please him because, as she said she was in love with him. When they at some point. But when people use it like it's like an aha to say, oh, well, she was into it, so that therefore it's not abuse. But they don't understand and that's about consent isn't a one-time thing. It's like she could have been into it the first 2 or 3 times they did it, the freak offs. But the minute she said, I don't want to do that this time or tonight or whatever, and he says, well, you're going to do it anyway, then it becomes coercion. It becomes manipulation and abuse. Which, and for people who say why she didn't leave, the video of her leave that we all saw of her literally trying to leave the hotel was during the middle of a freak off, actually. She left during the middle of a freak off and he was upset, which is led to the abuse we saw in that hotel hallway.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. So if one
So
folks
that's
say
why you went in the child.
yeah, because he was in the shower and she tried to escape, you know. And so um people are trying to paint this as I think it is celebrate it's I think partly because it is a bit male female about not believing people women's abuse being doubted if you saw with Meg Thee Stallion through her ordeal and then also it's about as I heard, I think Kimberly Foster, I think it's her name online. She's like a social critic. We're socialized to side with power, and the person that's powerful in this case is Diddy. So we're socialized to see this rich, powerful black man who came up, through tough background. His daddy got killed when he was little, raised by a single mother, hustled his way into Howard, from there through the record industry up through the ranks to the top of the industry. We're socialized to side with him partly because of the power, but probably because of all the things that he had a hand in, whether that's Jodeci and Mary and Uptown, or Biggie and Faith and 112 and Mace and Bad Boy and Lux and all that stuff. There's all these memories attached to things that he has had a hand in. I think it's affecting people's perception as well. So it's not surprising to me that the reaction we're getting from people about Cassie, because you get the reaction from everybody. It don't matter. If you know I would even say if Aaliyah hadn't passed in that plane crash, and at some point she decided to come out about what happened between her and R. Kelly, she get the same thing. Don't matter.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's always the thing about this. People always question the timing of the victims, announcing the abuse.
Mhm.
It's I mean, a story as old as time, but it's always this in these situations. And my thing with Diddy was, with people's reaction, I was like, how quickly he paid to silence her or to kind of like get it out the way. And then as soon as he paid, the money off, he went into this victim mode. Oh, this I won't be held down. And he was reposting like the victorious videos and just all this weird shit. Like he wasn't, responsible for any pain to her or her family. And then when the video was released, he's like, "Oh man, I was in a dark place." Yeah, but it's like, okay, you went from saying all these allegations are false. This is not true. This is just a money grab. This is people trying to sully my name. And then the video is released, and now you're saying you're in a dark place. You were in a dark place, and now, like, it's like, which one is it? Like, is it
To,
Uchi Wally? Is it one Mike? Like,
but to me, that's the crazy part, or that's the arrogant part, because he knew that video was out there because he had to pay somebody off to like suppress that or like keep that away. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way that he didn't know that could have been out there somewhere. So I think it shows the arrogance that he had, that he thought he was above it all and he had away with it by paying off and then turn around and saying, "Oh, I'm the victim."
right?
That's what it says to me about him.
Yeah, it's a manipulation tactic for sure. Um, so it just goes to this concept that uh, there's a there's a I think the reason why so many black people, particularly black men, defend those people like Diddy and Chris Brown and Bill Cosby and others is that they see themselves, they want to be like them, first of all. Then secondly, I think they feel like the black man is always under constant attack, which, I mean, everyday life, okay, somewhat, yes. However, the same way they talk to women, they talk about women and accountability. Where's the accountability for these people, these men who are accused of these crimes? Where's the accountability for them? It's never it's not enough. Well, Bill Cosby shouldn't have done that, or P. Diddy should have, you know, not been so uh destructive in his sescapades, right? Like
Mm,
it's okay for you to like those things that he likes as long as it's consensual.
mm,
But the problem is it wasn't consensual. It was a lot of forced or coerced you know, abuse.
you're right.
That's the problem, and same with Chris Brown. Like, where's the accountability for you always in some shit? You're
Hmm.
always doing some shit. It wasn't one isolated incident from when he was quote unquote young. It's a pattern of abuse and just dumb, bad decisions made over and over. This man almost 40.
And he got
You know what I'm saying?
he got arrested last week, did this past
Yeah,
week? Yeah. So yeah.
yeah. And all these niggas be old. Like, it's always like when they were young, and then you look at these niggas be like 50. Well, it's always it's like, nah, these people do bad things,
Well,
and I don't know that people don't want to see them be held accountable. You know what? It goes as far back as OJ too, because the OJ thing was weird because it wasn't so gender based like now, you know. But back then it was just black people wanted to see a black man beat the system.
mm,
But it was like, well, where's the accountability? Because this nigga, even if he didn't kill her, he was beating her ass. You know what I'm saying? Like it was
I think I think with OJ, I think people took the position of, well, she a white woman, so she not so much, I don't know if that's what she deserved what she got, but like it's less of a maybe they had less sympathy to spare or empathy to spare for her. Because I don't, we both were kids at the time, so I can't really
yeah,
speak to
yeah.
what everybody was
I
saying. But if I had to guess, it may have been, well, she a white girl, she probably was trying to have some, just whatever the dots people trying to connect to to excuse that, you know. But I think the issue is, but all the men, his name, is that, part is celebrity and fame, and partly is that, but also, I mean, black men is as a community, we tend to coddle black men. You know, that's why, little girls get shown how to take care of a baby from the time they're a baby, and black boys, are expected to just go outside and play, quote unquote. It's why young girls are expected to say, you the one supposed to make sure you're not dressed a certain way, or that you don't tempt boys do certain things. And it's all right for guys to fuck anything that moves until they decide to get married. You know, the onus on the responsibility always falls to women to sort of uphold the community and do everything to sort of keep the community intact. And with men, it's like with us, it's like, well, nigga, just try it. If you don't, you can sleep on somebody's couch. You know what I mean? It's just like we tend to like coddle the men in our community. Not just famous men, but even just, I'm sure it's people, in local communities, similar behavior that, ain't shit, that have a history of abusing women, have a history of, not being there for their kids, or you go down the list, yet, they show up to the reunion, they get in the plate, you know.
mm. Yeah, I mean, I would say that there's a level of what you just said that is true, but I think a post that you that we I found, man, I forgot the guy name and I shared it. but I shared the post with you, with the person talking about how the black male is starved in a way, and they're starved for a lot of things. They're starved for attention. They're starved for love.
Yeah, decipher is the
Basically,
name.
right.
This,
Yeah, basically all the things that would make someone a quote unquote well-adjusted, healthy person. And I think that starvation, uh, it grows to a point to where they lash out, violently, um, in an apathetic way. There's just a void that they try to fill with a lot of dangerous shit or a lot of reckless shit. And I think when they see people like Diddy, Tory Lanez, and things like that, they feel attacked as well because I guess they see that this is what happens to me on a daily. And damn, even a person who is rich still has to constantly get attacked and have these same things happen to them. But I think what they don't fully grasp is this person brought this upon themselves because they were reckless with whatever power they did gain or have, they were reckless with it. And the people who view them as, I don't want to say gods, but view them as these celebrities, these successful black men, these kings, whatever you want to call it, they, instead of feeling, I don't know, betrayed or feeling maybe like holding them accountable, they feel like they're being attacked because they made it. They overcame the odds, uh, and now people want to take from them. You know what I'm saying? What they worked so hard to get. So how dare you attack these successful black men with your lies and your games and you know these allegations? And it's like, nigga, they did it. It's like they did the shit. It's a thing, and it's like, and I also think a lot of these niggas don't have good role models around them in their everyday life to avoid them from falling for this trap of idolatry. Like, nigga, if you knew who your daddy was or had a good father figure, would you need to look at someone like P. Diddy and act like they're invincible and they're above, critique or approach? Like, I don't know. It's just like, I think there's a lack in the people who take up for those people. There's a lack of a lot of things, but I definitely think they lack some of the things we talked about as far as their development.
yeah, well, I mean, part that's part due to I think patriarchy, or does that word. But I mean, I think it's true because I think for a lot of men, I think in particularly, well, men in general, I wouldn't just put it just a straight men, but I think men in general, we are taught from early age what are the emotions that are acceptable: happiness, anger. You either turn it up or turn it up in a bad way. Either one. Pick one. But admitting fear, admitting uncertainty, vulnerability, self-doubt, sadness when it's not, somebody ain't dead, none of that. you know. So I think that it cuts us off at the knees in terms of being expressed, in terms of being able to learning that expressing a range of emotions is healthy, that it's not that it doesn't make you weak or suspect to have a full range of emotions. So that's the first thing. That's off top. Uh, and then that spills over into interactions because if you are taught that vulnerability is something that it can be that's only a weakness, it only can be used against you by anybody, particularly another man, then are you going to open up to another man? No. Are you going to talk really have deep conversation with another man that ain't just about sports and fucking and whatever else? No. So men don't generally talk to each other the way that women talk to each other, you know. So it's like you don't communicate, you don't talk to each other, keep everything balled up, and then eventually that's gonna come out in some way. Like I think it's something I was listening to earlier about on another channel I was watching with Olay and Friends. This is like a YouTube channel. And she's like a criminal defense attorneys who's really active in like prison abolition, but she does this YouTube channel with different speakers every week. Um, and it's something like it's like with men, men not being in touch with the emotions. It's like you at a certain point, Diddy wasn't always Diddy didn't come out of a box like Diddy. At some point, Diddy was a child, Sean Combs. And something happened to that child that over time wasn't dealt with, wasn't confronted either by him or the people in his life, and that metastasized into the person that we see on trial now over decades. Same with R. Kelly. R. Kelly was once a victim of sexual abuse, and that I'm gonna assume that probably wasn't dealt with. He probably didn't go to therapy for it, and over time he became what happened to him. He became the abuser. That's happened with everybody. What happens to some folks. So I think an important thing to point out is that yes, but both of them niggas did is monstrous and need to be held accountable. But at the same time, they are not superhuman, inhumane monsters. There is something that happened or things that happened along the way that got them from point A to point B. And I think when we just say, nigga, you trash and go away, that we do ourselves a disservice by not trying to figure out what leads somebody to go to that extreme. Because part of the reason they went to the extreme because they have the money and the power to do it. But there are plenty of men or plenty of people, not just men, but because they're female predators as well in the community. Women are predators in the community as well.
Mhm.
There are plenty of people who don't have that money and the power, but they have the inclination. You know,
I agree. I definitely agree. Um, it's a tricky thing to see online in discourse because, like we mentioned, it always ends up going back into gender wars, and I think it goes back to gender wars because it's a lot of men who are more vocal about not believing the victim
mm,
or thinking the victim is all at fault, and that the accused is being, torn down and attacked because they're trying to take uh, they're trying to take from them.
mm.
So that's how we end up in this constant loop uh, of back and forth between the two parties. But I think, and I hope that both when these I don't know when this Tory Lane shit is going to end because I thought we were done with it. I thought once he went to jail, we were fucking done with it. But once again, it comes back because somebody else is accused of shooting, and then another celebrity makes a claim, and then it's just we back to the original brouhaha. So I don't know when that shit going in. But the Diddy shit, the one thing I'm wondering about the Diddy shit is though, when are they gonna get to the charges that really lock this nigga up? Because right now, it just feels like he's
But
going to end up maybe getting off on this,
mm,
but I don't know. I don't know what his plan is if he does, because now it's like, I mean, don't get me wrong, everybody loves a redemption arc, but I don't think he could ever be the same beloved mogul as before. But I'm starting to wonder when is he going to when are they going to bring the big guns out, so to
the
speak?
racketeering sort of charges thing.
Yes, the
Well,
racketeering, the sex trafficking.
they interviewed one of the sex workers that they that's one of the charges that he basically engaged in commercial sex work, and that's a crime that they're trying to, you know, prosecution is presenting. I don't want to going too far to that because I'm not a lawyer, so I can't speak to, you know, the the minute the super details of all that, but um. I mean, I think what they're trying to do with Cassie is just establish the idea that this is the environment that he created along with his, people that he hired, and by her direct access to it or direct relationship with him, she saw also participated in things like she called this particular male sex worker to come uh meet with her and Diddy for one of the freak offs. So I think it's a way to sort of connect people that people connect the dots, the jury to connect the dots. I'm also know that Don Richards from Danny Kane she came on, she testified. I think Aubrey is scheduled to testify. And she hate Diddy. So I mean, but she's always say, well, she was early on speaking out about what she could speak out about as far in terms of who he's in terms of his character basically. And I just circle back about the men who look up to Diddy. One thing too is like as far as looking up to him as far as being successful, aside from the trial going on right now, think of how he achieved success. Think of all the artists on Bad Boy and the stories of like people not getting paid, the Locks leaving, Black Rob dying broke, you know,
Craig
so on and
Mack.
so forth. Craig Mack dying broke, so on and so forth. So I mean, yeah, he achieved, but at what cost? It's like and I feel some of the comments too, because every somebody comes be like, what about Harvey Weinstein? Y'all want to bring him up? It's like that nigga is dust. That he I mean he made like he I know he's back on travel for something, back on travel for something, but there have been documentaries, there have been the article that launched the Me Too movement. Like they try to always bring him up like he's a the gotcha. It's like they tore him apart first in terms of the modern reckoning. Um, and what it says to me when people say that is like y'all don't want like collective healing, liberation, whatever we're gonna call it. Y'all want rich niggas to get away with stuff that white rich men get away with. That's what y'all want. Y'all want to be white men.
Mm-mm-mm. But yeah, I mean, he was a shitty person. Yeah, sexual, all this
Okay.
shit aside, he was a shitty person.
Right, making
You
the band
know,
shoot.
yeah, making the band, all that. The nigga was always, you know what I'm saying, in some shit, and I think with his age, it only got worse. Especially, I think within the last, I want to say maybe decade plus, because he started to go from international superstar to kind of a legacy act. And I don't think his ego took that well. Um, I think he saw himself start to become, I think he started to see himself finally age. And I think he started having issues with it. And I think that's why he wanted, and I think that's why he continued to date, someone like a Cassie and then move on eventually to a Carisha. And then, I mean, this nigga had a baby like what, 2, 3 years ago? A new fucking kid. So it's like he's someone that I saw as a celebrity that didn't feel comfortable Asian. The whole thing with Drake, when him slapping Drake, you know, because Drake took a song that was meant for him, but made it a hit because he didn't like it. So that's another side. You can't make a hit no more. So now you get mad and you slap Drake. The future audio of Future getting mad because Diddy coming over, and he's like, man, who invite this old ass nigga? It's like he saw it's like he looked in the mirror and saw the gray hairs and the bags and was like, fuck, like he couldn't accept not being the moment anymore, um, and just being a legacy act now. So it's like I just think the chickens came home to roost, and it's time really. It's time for the nigga to pay the piper and probably hopefully do jail time, because is he really gonna stop if he gets off? I just feel like he'll probably try to lead the country, or if he can't lead the country, he'll probably be quiet for a little while, but he'll fuck up again. Uh just because of his ego. But I don't know. It's an interesting moment to talk about this whole thing with people, because it feels like not everyone wants to really look at the elephant in the room, and that's that niggas with power do bad things.
Well, I think, yeah, well, absolute power can corrupt absolutely. I think that's if you want to just do that old saying. I mean, I'm sure you have people who are in leadership positions that aren't necessarily like him, you know, um, like you think of somebody like I don't know, well, I guess, well, I'll put this, I would hope it's not true. Everybody that's in a power in a leadership position. You know, um, I'll say that.
Yeah.
I think
So,
I think he probably likely would have been that person either way, but I think the access to the money and the power, just made his it expanded it basically. You know,
hmm
it gave
like
him
it,
the infrastructure to do something like that
yep.
and to get away with it, for so long. Same with R. Kelly, same with Bill Cosby. So
Yeah, it's pretty sad that this shit continues to still be a talking point, but alas, that's where we are. Uh, moving on. So it's summertime, and we're in the season of movies and things like that. Um, so I wanted to ask you, what are some things that you're excited for this upcoming summer, or some things that you've viewed or listened to uh, in the last few weeks or so?
well, something I listened to recently is the Reliving Single podcast that started, which for those who don't know, it's a basic podcast hosted by two actresses from the show 90s sitcom Living Single, Erica Alexandra and Kim Coles, who played uh, Maxine and Sinclair on the show. They're basically doing like a rewatch where they go through each episode. So with especially start with the intro as far as like how the show got developed, and then started with the pilot. I think right now they're on like the second episode when they brought on Kim Fields, who played Regine on the show. And so I'm assuming that it's going to go through the whole series and just watch, sort of recap each episode and talk about what happened behind the scenes. They probably invite on, TC Carson and Kenny actor's name played the overture. I'm sorry, but and maybe Queen Latifah at some point. Maybe they invite on Yvette Lee Bowser, who created the show as well. So so far I really like it. Because I was living single was I one of those great 90s sitcoms of that era. So, and I like, not that I'm above watching any Real Housewives stuff or anything like that, because I watch some of it still. Well, not as much as I used to. But I watch it. I've watched it. I still watch clips of it. But I like a format where you see women, particularly Black women, truly celebrating each other and complimenting each other. And it's not backhanded, it's not shady. It's really them celebrating each other and really being confident in themselves and each other. And it's not this, fight to be HBIC, you know. Uh, I enjoy listening to that and watch. You watch on YouTube too. So that's something I've really liked recently.
I saw the Living Single podcast ad, and I really wanted to tap in because I actually been thinking about. It's so funny before this aired that I was thinking about going back to watch Living Single because I haven't really watched Living Single in its totality since we were young.
Mm.
Like watching it in real time. So I wanted to go back and watch it like as an adult, um, just to, with more context and just really, having a better understanding of grown up experiences in life. I think it's cool that they're doing this because I mean that's a popular thing to do now, especially
Mhm.
when you have people who are involved directly with the show, reliving it. And you already know I'm pretty sure there's going to be, if not an all cast reunion on the podcast, there's going to be several episodes with rotated with different cast members and writers of the show. So that's going to be exciting. And I hope
Mhm.
other shows follow that trend. I would love to. I mean, maybe you get a girlfriend's pod. I mean, because no, I'm not gonna say that, but uh, I'm sure other members of shows could get together and do stuff like this too.
Yeah.
Um, have a whole nostalgia moment. Um, so that'd be cool. Yeah, I think that's cool. As far as me, I have watched. Well, I'm excited for some of the movies coming out this summer. I thought the comic book shit was dead. I thought we left it alone. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm excited to see the new Superman movie. Um, it's not reimagining is not that, but it's just a different version. Um, it's by James Gunn's gonna be the director. He did some of the stuff for Marvel
Mhm.
with the Guardians of the Galaxy and other stuff like that. But he's gonna have his turn as Superman, and then there's gonna be a Fantastic Four movie with Marvel, and Fantastic Four is like one of the older superhero groups, the first family of Marvel. So it'll be fun to see how they execute that. And yeah, it's a lot of stuff coming out this summer. I listened to the latest Rico Nasty album. I like Rico. I
Yeah.
feel like Rico. I feel like if MTV still cared about music, if this was like the mid to late aughts, maybe a little maybe the early aughts to mid aughts, she would probably be a bigger star than she is because it would just be maybe more eyes directed towards her. But I'm not even saying that with complete confidence because she's doing well now. She has pretty good tours and she's able to, maintain a dedicated fan base.
Mm.
All that aside, but I enjoyed it. I think she's one of the girls I like because she can rap if she wanted to. She could just do like the 16 over a baseline type shit. But
Mm.
she likes to mix it up with, elements of rock, elements of punk, elements of grudge, um, all types of subgenres. And I think that makes her fun. I never listened to one of her projects feeling bored because I know it's going to be something that sounds it's going to be loud, it's going to be funny, it's going to be something different than any other artist in that lane is giving.
Mm.
So yeah, and hold on, let me pull up the other album I listened to because the other album I listened to was called let me get to it. Oh, I should have had this prepared. Yeah, Sailor, from
Oh,
Florida's Finest.
okay. Yeah.
Um, have you heard of her?
Mm-mm. Mm.
She is relatively new. She's Vietnamese. Uh, Her name is actually Kayla Lee, but she goes by Sailor. It's a lot
Okay.
of R&B, pop flavor type music. Um, she had this whole thing at one point called Sailor Goon, and
Mhm.
it was really received well, like on SoundCloud. And then she went on to kind of like start taking it more seriously, I guess. So
Mhm.
this is like her first, I don't want to say official project. Well, yeah, I guess you could say her first official project, but I liked it though. Um, some of the writing's very clever. She's got a song called Girls Girl that talks about basically uh like liking your homegirl and maybe having sex with them. And then she's got other songs that are kind of fun, like Done Shaving for You. So she's unique. I can hear a lot of Doja Cat in her,
Okay. Yeah.
but yeah. So that's all I've listened to lately. Um, but I'm excited. Oh, the new season of The Bears coming. It'll be a
Oh,
fourth
yeah.
season
Okay. Okay. I haven't seen
coming
anything
out
about it.
coming out in June. Ironheart is coming out in June. That's the Marvel show featuring
Mm.
the comic character Riri Williams, who was in the Black Panther sequel.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know about the bear coming back.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think I hope this might be the last season. Um, I can't see the bear going on like 8, 10 seasons. Nowadays most shows sweet spot is like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So we'll probably get one more after this if this isn't the last season. But I don't think this is the last season because usually the last season it's announced as the last season.
Mm.
So probably after
Well,
this.
well, I guess I will say I've been seeking out some like more rock, like or some black rock bands, like Kingdom Claw was one I came across. I think Darkwave was another one, I believe. Uh,
Hmm.
you know,
That's what's up. Yeah, I think it's that time to really just kind of mix it up a little bit, listen to some other stuff. Cause it's so much music out there,
mm,
that sometimes it's hard to even try to digest it. It's just where's the time?
yeah,
And then it's just so like people make shit every day.
hmm
So,
because
but
I finally had time to listen to Duran Bernard's album.
oh wow, did you like it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he is doing so well. He's one of those artists that he is in a great spot. I don't now he's somebody that I'm glad came out in the time he came out because if he would have came out a little too early, I feel like he would have got either not noticed or just just been there, because now it's like, or maybe he would have had to change the way he promotes himself, but he's definitely the artist of the moment for sure because he gets to. I love the fact that he gets to be himself, and I
Mm.
think that really helps people connect with him because his story is so fun. It's such an underdog story that he was this guy who auditioned for The Voice. He was trying to get up there, he didn't make it. He basically picked Erica Badu to be her backup singer, and he did that, and then he hit the ground running, making music, and some of it connected, some of it didn't, and he just worked, work, 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 and now he's really in a good spot, and then he still got more room to go. He's going to end up really being, I think, somebody that's not forgotten. People don't have to compare him to other people. It'd be just he's Duran Bernard.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm a huge fan of his. So as we go on, I'm interested to see though uh what happens next as far as when is Dochi going to drop another project? Because I'm curious to see how is how is she going to handle this new fame? You know, how is she going to continue to take it to another level? Because it's one thing when you're able to do what you do without the budget, but then what happens when you finally get the buy-in and the budget from the label to do or execute some of the visions you wanted to do that you
Well,
couldn't do when you didn't have the money?
yeah, well, she had the video for Anxiety, which I mean, the budget for that seemed like it was pretty substantial compared to some the previous stuff she's done. Um, an album, I think. Uh, I think if it is going to be one, I think it'll be towards the late summer, fall, or even like even later in the fall, because I mean she's still riding off
Alligator
alligator
bites never
bites.
heal,
Yeah, yeah. I mean she's still riding off the success of that. So um,
which I don't blame her because that was a great project that I could
mm,
that I consider an album. I don't care what nobody say, but I
mhm,
get it.
yeah.
Uh,
I,
but
I think it'd be a good idea to wait a little bit until like later in the year because that'll give time for all of these sort of chatter to die down a bit. Because the chatter seems to be like she's an interesting plant, or y'all hate her because X, Y, and Z, or it's Harry Tubman musical. She's like she's in the and
people
she's
people call her industry plant.
yeah, she's
That's crazy.
she's an interesting plant. They're shoving her down her throat. Uh,
What?
she's she's like yeah, it's been a lot. It's been more discourse around her lately. Definitely in the last, let's say, probably a couple of months. Um, since then she's kind of blown up a bit. Um, Yeah, I think it'd be probably a good idea to wait for that to die down just a little bit, not too much, but a little bit, so that way people can kind of just tune the noise out and focus on whatever's coming next, you know.
Yeah,
Uh
and TDE is notorious for like sometimes having the artists take long bouts before they release another project, and you never know if it's because of the artist or them or what, but because I think their only big star now is SZA. So now you have Doechii right there. You would think that there would be to continue to strike while the iron's hot, but
like I
you know,
said, I think they will, but just not right at this moment. 'Cause I mean, like I said,
right.
I think Anxiety is doing pretty well. Uh, you know, as far as I don't know about radio play, but I think the video's gotten some pretty good numbers and songs getting played a lot. So she had her first bit of controversy, at least at the Met Gala, the whole thing. So
Oh, so what happened at the Met Gala?
basically she was like coming down, whatever hotel she was saying, she was coming down uh into the lobby, I guess, to go to the Met Gala. And when the elevator opened up, she was there in her outfit, but and the paparazzi was there. They saw us taking pictures. She hid, elevator closed up, and then she basically like her team put this like half closet, I don't know, some sort of partition around it, and then it with umbrella. And she kept saying, "I didn't want," and they put umbrellas around it on top of the partition, where because there was no top there, and they started stacking umbrellas so they couldn't see her. And she said, "I need more umbrellas, need more fucking umbrellas." And then it basically was like kind of like a tense moment, and she was like kind of like saying like I need like she's being, I guess you would call it like a diva moment if you wanted to. And some people didn't like it. Some people thought it wasn't. They thought that she was talking down to her staff and so on, and she got some criticisms for that. Which I mean, I guess that's fair to say, but also, but I don't know. I mean, as far as diva moments go, I don't think it's the worst that I've seen. Uh,
Yeah,
I
that sounds
think,
pretty tame.
yeah, I mean, yeah, but then again, I watched Truth or Dare, so that's if you want to see some great ambitiousness, love Madonna, but still, uh, you know, to me, it came off less like that. That's the way she talks to them all the time, and more like it was like a high pressure moment, and she just didn't have the time to be like, please, could you please give me some umbrellas? Like, no, I know I need fucking umbrellas. We gotta get there. That's how it came off to me. You know,
Hmm.
or like if
Yeah.
say like, or like if you're working at a restaurant, it's like table 3 needs to order right now. You don't say, hey guys, can you bring out the order to table 3? Like, no, no, right fucking now. They need it. Like
Right,
that.
right.
That's how it came. That's how it came off to me.
Like a sense of urgency type
Yes,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, that's
Again, people are in charge of their feelings, So
are they? No, just yeah, I get it. Did you pay attention to the Met Gala? Met Gala?
I watched like recaps of it. I saw like I saw outfits and things like I looked online for what things people wore. you know so I mean, and I get people are different. No, I think with the political shift that's happened the last couple of years, I think people are definitely like taking that. People are definitely more like uh take a sort of negative view of it, like rich people having a party and we ain't invited, so to speak. For me, I appreciate the creativity of the designers, especially with this particular theme this year with Black Dandyism. Um, but beyond that, that's pretty much where I'm at with it. I can appreciate the creativity, but still, that's about it. I love Diana Ross's dress, but she uh, very grand, very very diva. um, the one of these outfit I really loved. Tiana Taylor, another good outfit. Um, I feel like Megan Thee Stallion, she got. I think her reference went over a lot of people's heads, or they made it sound like it, but people were like, "Oh, well, why she just wore a gown and the hair looks weird?" It was a homage to Josephine Baker, basically, with the hair in particular. Um, but also, who else? Uh, like Tracee Ellis Ross's look. Uh, Coleman Domingo, strong, some good looks. Brian Tyree, a couple other people. So, did you look at any of it?
I mean, being online, you kind of get subjugated to like view it, but it's not like I was seeking it, but it just so happened to be on my timeline.
Mm.
Um, I would, I, I'm like you. People have adopted that belief of, this is kind of like, the rich people part or whatever. But this time they use, and you see, this is why they be clever. They be clever to use things that feel like it includes us, but it really doesn't. It only includes the upper crust of us and makes us look at them with the whole idolatry type thing. So well played. So they did the Black Dandy shit, and niggas ate it up. And some of it just looked silly. Some of it didn't really execute it, the theme to me. I think Tiana Taylor was probably one of the best at really playing into the theme and just the grandness of it.
Grandiosity.
Others, yes. Others I thought should stay their ass home. Future, what the fuck was that? Uh I think Meg just had on a Grammy dress. That was another thing. A lot of people just having Grammy clothes on. Like, if you, I feel like this. If you're not playing to the theme, you should go. You shouldn't even be allowed to come in.
But
Because what?
that's a slippery slope though, because I mean, it well, depends on what the theme is. Like if the year the theme was like Catholic imagery, and you show up with like I don't know,
So
uh,
my thing is with the
a
dandyism.
Buddhist outfit.
You think of like the roaring 20s, 30s, just very. Um, I don't know. I don't even think that theme was that complicated, but you still saw people dressed like they're going to the fucking Grammys. Like I just thought it was just like Rakim. Rakim think he's a fashion killer, quote unquote. But the nigga really just be skating. He just
Rakim was there?
always yeah. No, no, no.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I called him by his real name. ASAP Rocky.
oh, okay. Oh,
ASAP Rocky, yeah.
was that
ASAP Rocky.
Rakim? Thinking of a master plan. Shit.
Yeah, now ASAP Rocky's name is Rocky. His real name is Rakim.
Okay.
But yeah, ASAP Rocky, it's like he do the same shit. His hair was the star, but that shit he had on, he's like the Taylor Swift of fashion. He just gets credit because he's there and he wears nice looking shit, but it's not like he's doing anything special. Um, so yeah, that's all my 2 cents about the Met Gala shit. Some of it was cool, some of it looked stupid. Uh, yeah,
Well, I think even when the things that may not look great or look dumb, I would rather somebody swing for the fences and look kind of ridiculous than just show up and look basic. You know.
yeah. Some niggas definitely do the basic shit. Um, that's why I was like the Grammy dresses and just the BET award suits.
Yeah. Well, I
Really
wish.
wasn't.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Nah, really just didn't play it to the theme because I'm like it's a theme. It's a reason why they have a theme. At least that's what I'm supposed to be under the impression of. So for you not to play into the theme, you just look like a bad sport.
Yeah.
Like
On
like
one
if
hand,
you're gonna if you're gonna be a celebrity and you play these celebrity games, participate or
I,
stay the fuck home, or
yeah.
just go to another award show.
But on the one hand, I kind of get it, or I have a certain amount, I guess, empathy because it's like, it's ironic because we supposedly love artists because they go against the grain, but then when they show up and go against the grain, we drag them forward when it comes to award show outfits. So I can have a degree of everything for if somebody shows like, I ain't trying to get dragged for 10 hours on whatever and get mean to death. I'm just gonna show up with a nice black suit. Uh, but on the other hand, I was like, who cares? I mean, 2 days you better be talking about somebody else. So I don't know. I'm two minds about it when it comes to
Nah, I
that.
get it.
Eh.
I absolutely get it. But yeah, that is that's about all we
Oh,
have
and
this.
there's
Oh,
a little bit one last bit of good news. The Notting Way plantation burned down.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's it. Because that's the White Castle. Oh, I was trying to think about where it was exactly. So yeah, yeah. All plantations should
Yeah.
be
Yeah, what about you
destroyed or
say?
burned down. Whatever. What you say?
Blessings. That's what she said.
Oh,
What she said. Well,
yeah.
I really well just to be real quick. I will say I don't have an issue if the plantation in question is being presented as like a museum, as a place to go learn about enslaved people and their lives and what happened and what they were doing on the plantation. I don't, if it's being used for that purpose, then fine. But this was used for like bed and breakfast and weddings and shit, so
Oh
fuck it.
yeah. Weddings. Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's.
Because it's like that'd be like having a bed and breakfast at Auschwitz. You know, would you like some breakfast and shit in the
Hmm.
morning? Oh, I don't know, but yeah. And
Right.
I wish more people, particularly white folks, would understand that. Like this is looking cute in your little contributory hat at the plantation. They ain't the move because you wouldn't do that at Auschwitz. Auschwitz, you know.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I am not opposed to it at all.
Yeah.
I'm glad no one got hurt, but yeah, that's
Yeah. Oh,
me.
yes. I'm glad nobody got hurt, but also I'm not crying over that over it burning down because, like I said, they were using it for bed and breakfasts and weddings and tours and stuff. It's like if either just keep it to historical, information, presenting it as what it is, a place where enslavement happened and where people were subjugated and you know uh treated like child slavery. Basically, talk about what actually happened. Highlight the history of it. Don't treat it like it's some quaint little thing you can go to and just get married and look cute.
Right. Exactly. So good riddance. Glad the shit is gone. I mean, cause yeah, and they said they're gonna rebuild it anyway.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not. I wouldn't be surprised if they rebuilt it and people went there and said and went back to there for a bed and breakfast. You know,
Hmm.
and we live in the same
But
timeline where we can call a little black boy a nigga and get $1 million. So
hmm
yeah, that's a sour note to end on.
I know. But
That was
we'll
like a
be
Paul. That was
back,
like a
man.
that was like a Paul Mooney note to end on. Nick in school. How about that? When
Right. So here we are once again, back with another episode. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Thank y'all for listening. It's so great to get feedback. Shout out to the listeners who like to send those text messages, those messages
Mhm.
on the page or whatnot. Thank you for the support.
DMs.
We Yeah, DMs, thank you. We do this. It's a labor of love. We're not getting paid. We ain't got no sponsors. We got jobs. We everyday niggas, but we do this because why not? Um, and we enjoy it. So thank you for listening. Thank you for the support. We'll continue to do our thing. We'll be back soon. Another episode coming before the month ends. Uh, we'll work on that outline. We'll work on that theme for the next episode, but another one's coming before the end of the month. And then we'll get forward to an action-packed summer, a summer that's gonna have a lot of stuff going on because it's summertime, so it's gonna be a lot of movies, shows, podcasts, news, etc. All that said, I am Uptown Bobby,
And I'm K. Clark.
and we are out.